See you, brother. Good to be here, brother.
We got
group. We love these
44,000
guys.
people watching live.
Amazing. I got look at the people right here too.
Let's go over here.
Thank you. So, thank you for everything. Keep these people safe every day. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you for being such a great patriot. I love you, brother.
Love you back.
Thank you so much.
Love you back. Tell this guy too. Thank you for keeping everybody safe here, man. Thank you. Thank you. See you. How are you, man? Good to see you.
In the helicopter.
Good to be here. Good to see you, man.
You're an Oz guy. Oh, good to see you.
I'm this risk reward guy. You know, I'm always upside down side. Investment mentality. That's good. Good to see you guys. It's awesome. How are you guys? Yes, absolutely. Good to see you guys.
Somebody take my picture with my guy.
Love this guy. What dad of all dads was inspiring now?
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, guys.
Proud of you.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. How are you?
May I have you,
man?
Thank you.
It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Let's do this.
You are
So
amazing.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. I love it, brother.
Thanks, man. MAGA. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good to see you, man. We're not going to keep fighting, man. That's good. Let's do it.
Hey, let me tell you, from one American to another.
I love you, bro. Love it. Hey,
Good health and prosperity to you and your family, and not just the kind that did.
thank
I
you.
always say I'm loved.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. I love it. Good to see you.
I just need a picture with you, but I'm taking other pictures.
Get in here, brother. Get in here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Good to see you. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Goodness, I'm trying to get the right light.
Good to see you. Good to see you, man. How are you? How you been, brother?
I've been good. How about
Good,
yourself?
good.
Can't wait to see you
Yeah.
on the podcast again.
It's good. Good. They don't go soft. And I like that.
No.
That's good. Tell me when we want me up there.
I think first.
Yeah, tell me when. Yeah, a few minutes? Set up. We got time. Absolutely.
Get a picture real
Yeah,
quick?
absolutely, man. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, man. Thank you. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
4 years. I want to see you up again.
We're going to make sure of it. We're going to make sure of it. Absolutely.
You're VP, and we got 12 years of you.
I'll do whatever's required for the country,
I
man.
appreciate it. I love all your company.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's it going, sir?
How are you? How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Yeah. Get in here, man. How you doing?
Great to
Good
see
to
you,
see you,
man.
man. Good to see you guys.
Oh, man.
How are you, brother? Love you back.
Love you back. Get in here. Come on now.
Yeah. Where you guys from? You're around here?
Olympia, Washington.
Amazing. Oh,
All the
wow.
way. Yeah. 18
You
hours.
came in from Washington.
Yes, sir. Layover. $100.
$100 flight. Not bad.
Yes, sir. Denver layover.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Sir.
Good seeing you, man.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Thanks for
Good
everything
seeing
you've
you,
done
man.
for our
Thank you.
country.
Thank you. Good seeing you, man. How are you?
Sharp man.
Where are you from?
Alberta, Canada.
Alberta, Canada. Oh, I got Canada.
Nice.
I appreciate it. Where are you from, man?
Oregon.
What's that? Oregon.
Oregon.
I love that. What's your name? Where are you from, man?
I'm here from Atlanta.
Awesome.
Take a picture with you, okay?
Thank you,
Welcome to
man.
Atlanta.
Good
Thank
to
you
be
so
here.
much for your services.
Love it, brother.
And we are with you.
It's good to see you. We love you back.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Good to see you, brother. What's your name?
Honor.
Where do you live?
Here.
Awesome. It's good to see you guys. Yeah. Good to see you, brother. Thank you. That's good. Come on. Bring it in here. Yeah, bring it in. Until they drag me on stage, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, sir. Thank you.
Good meeting you. Glad to be here. Love you back. Love you back. Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's do it. Woo! Good to see you. There's a picture? Yeah. see you, man. Good to be here. Do you want to go for it? Real quick. Yeah. Where are you from, man?
Chicago. I lived in Florida for about 12 years, but Chicago.
I'm right here. Right up here, bro.
Let's make some noise,
Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Good group here. Love this, people.
Keith.
What's your name?
Alex.
Alex,
Yeah.
good to see you, bud. Good to see you.
All right, so we're going to let Vivek Ramaswamy. One of the things that's most exciting is not only we have 51,000 concurrent viewers right now on X, and thanks to Vivek, he retweeted it. We went from like 44,000, and hopefully we'll be at 75,000 concurrent viewers. We'll get millions of views. My interview with Vivek got 2.8 million views. And by the way, I asked Vivek, if you remember, about Bed Bath & Beyond. Do we remember that? Nobody had asked the presidential candidate about GameStop, about Bed Bath & Beyond. Nobody had asked him about all these kind of things. Well, we did. And the exciting thing is that, you know, we have 3 million people on my Twitter. He has a ton of people on his YouTube. The exciting thing is people are sick and tired of Wall Street and people taking money from people, the average retail investor, and leaving them out to dry while they pocket lots of money. There's nobody better, there's no better presidential candidate, in my opinion, maybe other than a couple. You know, I don't want to insult our mutual friend.
We love our mutual friend.
We love our mutual friend. You know. But he understands very well the stock market and stuff like that, and to have a presidential candidate here is huge. So to all the 50,000 concurrent viewers we have, millions of people are going to watch us, and to everybody here. By the way, next time we're going to do it way closer to Atlanta, because this was like 45 minutes, and we still got, you know, hundreds of people coming out here. Yeah, too far. And by the way, this time we had double the hangar. This is like a Trump rally hangar, you know? So next time, I mean, last time was freaking packed. I said, we can't have it be this packed next time. That's why it's, you know, bigger this time. So anyway, we're going to let Vivek talk. Vivek, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for standing for the retail investors. So many people laugh at these people.
Why would that be?
Why would that be?
I laugh back at them.
I laugh back at them, that's right. So many people laugh at them. And what I do on Twitter is, and I think what your whole movement has been about, is embracing people and saying, you know what, we're not going to allow everybody to just, you know, treat everybody like trash or whatever. These are real human beings here who have, I mean, some of these people are very, very smart. Some of them. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the majority. No, I mean, not the majority, but some, you know. No. But, you know, hey, relax. But the due diligence that these people come up with is way better than you see on Wall Street and stuff like that. And this is the Wall Street Bets crowd. This is the GameStop crowd. This is the average investor. And we're so grateful that you came. So I'm going to let you be, and then can you turn on his mic?
Glad to be here, brother. Good to see you guys.
Thank you.
Love the energy in here.
These are diehards.
Walk into a hangar like this, you can feel the energy in the room. So I'm pumped up already.
Okay, can we get loud?
My
Right
juice
now?
is flowing.
Make some fucking noise!
Oh, this is good. Keep bringing it, guys.
All right, let's see Vivek. You know why? Because no other presidential candidate is right here right now, and we appreciate it.
I'm here,
Let's Vivek have the stage for a minute.
I love you guys. I'm gonna. You know what? Let's do this Q&A. Let's open this up. I want to kick this off with a few thoughts of why I am here. So my parents, they came to this country with no money 40 years ago. All right. In a single generation, I've gone on to found multiple multi-billion-dollar companies. Now, I'm going to tell you the story of the first of those, and it doesn't relate to public stocks, but it relates to the same issue of who actually looks down on the retail investor. I'll tell you who does make fun of you. It's actually the government. And I'll give you a sad example. You know, it's funny. I wasn't thinking of telling the story today. My cameraman was actually on the way over asking me about how did I feel about retail investors who aren't accredited not being able to invest in early-stage private rounds of companies. So I wasn't planning on talking about this, but we talked about this in the flight over. And so, you know what, I am going to tell you a story. That first company I founded was a company called Royan. All right, it is a close to $10 billion publicly traded company today. It's returned, well over $1 billion, soon to be $2.5 billion to shareholders. But I'll tell you the story of when it began. The people who backed me were my friends, the people who knew me. I was 28 years old. A number of my friends had achieved some success by that time so they could check the accredited investor box. One of my best friends, guy who I love, earnest American, loves this country, loves capitalism, and he was a true friend. He believed in me. He wanted to invest in that company on day one. Couldn't do it. Because the rules say he wasn't wealthy enough and therefore would not be sophisticated enough to make his own investment decision. Had he invested then $1, that would be worth $30 today. Had he invested $100,000, which would have been a lot of money for him, he wanted to go heavy on this, that would have been $3 million today. And yet that's an opportunity that he missed. And it's disgusting. Because the very people who claim they're protecting the retail investor are actually in many ways betraying the retail investor to actually further stack the odds against everyday citizens who deserve to participate in upside through the market, who deserve to have their voices heard in our economy and in corporate America, but who aren't being heard today. And that's what I want to talk about, because we're in the middle of a deeper war in our country right now. I don't use that word lightly. It is not a war between black and white, or man and woman, or gay and straight, or even Democrat and Republican. Not really. It's deeper than that. It is a war between what I call the managerial class and the everyday citizen. It is a war between the Great Reset and the Great Uprising. And this room right here is the Great Uprising. The way we will save this country is bottom up. It's bottom up, not top down. It's going to be bottom up. That's how we actually get this done. Now, let me tell you a little bit about one of the things that I recognize in the presidential campaign is that this managerial class is not just in politics. Right? We talk about the deep state. Anybody heard that term? Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? When you actually get done, get President Trump in office and then finally shut down that deep state. I ran to do it. We're going to help him get the job done. All right. But that starts in the government. But the deep state is not just in Washington, D.C. That's what I want you to understand. There's deep corporate. That's what you guys are up against. There's the deep state that rests within the universities. It's this managerial class. The same people who are staffing the undersecretary of God knows what in some three-letter agency, FDA, SEC, FTC, FBI, TSA, God knows what, that alphabet soup. It's the same people who then become the ambassador to some second world country, who become the deputy dean of diversity at some university, who then sit professionally on some corporate board or in the HR bureaucracy of some company. So now you got the alphabet soup of FTC, SEC, FDA, EPA, now in bed with a new alphabet soup of MSFT, GOOG, AMZN, the very companies that have been taken backdoor government threats to censor speech through the back door that they couldn't get censored through the front door. And so that's the point. The deep state is not just in government. It's a breed that rests in every sphere of our lives. Now, sometimes people on our side, I don't think many Republicans make this mistake, so talk about it as a war against the elites. I don't like that term because it makes the other people sound like they're better. Right? If they're elite, then what does that make everybody else? What actually is, there's something deeper going on. It's not just the elites and the everyday citizen. There's something deeper going on here. We're going to go a little deep today because I think we need to see what's happening. There's three classes of people here, okay, broadly, when we think about our economy. There's the everyday citizens, there are the creators, and then there's the managerial class. What's happened in corporate America today is the managerial class has really seized the power. The people who sit on those corporate boards, the executives who you all, as shareholders, are paying. I would go so far as to say overpaying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you better believe that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And they pay themselves.
Those corporate boards, they make $250K and they sit on their...
Oh, they only show up 4 times a year to a corporate board meeting. They even call it sitting. It's a very inactive verb. Many of the executive compensation policies tie the executive comp of CEOs today to hitting DEI or ESG goals, which have nothing to do with value for shareholders. That's the managerial class where we live in a moment now where creators need to team up with the everyday citizens to put the managerial class and send them back to pasture. That's the moment we live in right now. And it's not just going to happen through the government. It's going to happen through the markets. It's going to happen through folks like you standing up as capital owners to say that, you know what, you as a CEO, you as a CFO, you as a board, you report to me, the actual shareholder of your company, not some bureaucrat at BlackRock who claims to be the shareholder of your company, but is actually representing $10 trillion of your money without admitting up to it. That's actually the change we need. So before I call Bill back up here, let's have a conversation. I'll close on two thoughts here. One is, before I ran for president, I actually thought this was how I was going to drive change in this country. I founded a business called Strive that competes directly with BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, which says that instead of voting your shares, that's what they do when these large index funds who are the largest shareholders. Think of the companies you might buy a stock in, Pepsi or Coca-Cola, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. Oh, we have competition in the free market, we're told. Disney behaves one way. Why isn't Paramount Pictures taking advantage of that? Look at who are the top shareholders of Disney and Paramount Pictures. BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. Same thing. Apple, Microsoft, Exxon, Chevron. It's not real competition when they're using the money of everyday citizens through index funds to buy up those shares and then vote those shares in favor of Scope 3 emissions caps at Chevron or racial equity audits at Apple that have nothing to do with maximizing value of your dollar as a shareholder. So I found a competitor to those guys, Strive. And the purpose of Strive was to say, you know what our goal is when we speak on behalf of shareholders with the same kinds of index funds, when we vote those shares and speak on behalf of shareholders, it is for the goal of maximizing profit and maximizing value without apologizing for it, because that's what capitalism was made to do. And you know who's lifted Strive up has actually been the everyday citizen. And I'm very proud of the success that we had over the course of the last year and a half since launching that. Over $1.3 billion in assets under management and growing, making it one of the fastest launches in the industry of a new ETF issuer. So that's what I was proud of. Now I'm looking at the next step. I ran for president, went in to drain the swamp, actually shut down the deep state. Now I'm going to help President Trump get that job done in whatever way we can. That's how it's going to be done through the government. But I don't think we're done doing this through the market yet either. See, what's happened is many of those members of the managerial class in these companies, they lack a vision. Right? They lack any sense of purpose for why they're actually there. They're just going through the motions. So, I mean, you go straight down the list. You could pick your favorite version of the company. Actually, the GameStop example fits this description, right? The company had no vision for where it was going, but it was a retail revolution that said, no, here's an opportunity for where we could be going. That's where we could be running to. And it took everyday shareholders and everyday citizens to stand up to it. I think there's an opportunity for that actual revolution to play out in countless companies across the board that have lost their way. You think about companies in the media industry, for example. They've been systematic. I've been saying this for the last 6 months. I experienced it in the presidential campaign. Many of these media companies are failing. One of them, just one of them, could actually adopt as a vision for itself, we're not going to lie to you anymore. Look their own audience in the eye. It's like the equivalent of GameStop to say, hey, go from brick and mortar to a different mode of distribution. It's a vision for something that could make a company more valuable. Imagine if a CNN or whatever, pick your favorite random company, looked their own audience in the eye and said, you know what, we lied to you. We lied to you about the origin of COVID-19. We lied to you about the Hunter Biden laptop story. We lied to you about the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that never was. We lied to you about the truth of what happened on January 6th, the truth of how our money's being spent in Ukraine. We have lied to you systematically, and we apologize for it. And our competitors are going to keep lying to you, but we're cleaning house, and we're not going to lie to you any longer. If they look their audience in the eye and actually tell them that frankly, and here's why we're going to fix this and how we're going to fix it, customers are going to flock to this. That company is going to be far more successful than the dying legacy corporate media business. And I think many of these are publicly traded companies. You could have everyday retail shareholders being the ones who drive that change, just like you have in other companies over the course of the last couple of years. That's just one industry. So that's the truth. Stand for truth and good things happen. And when you're a retail shareholder, you know what? Bill was right. These corporate boards, they do look down on you. They look at you as an inconvenience, a pesky thorn in their side. But you know who are the thorn in somebody else's side? That's how this country was born. Our founding fathers were pesky thorns in the side of a British empire. that said hell no to that vision, that we're going to fight a revolution. And the British king, right, King George, he was like the people who look down on you. He says, no. I'm not doing it just because I care about King George. I'm doing it because I care about you. You can't be trusted to self-govern. You can't be trusted to speak your mind in the open without being censored. You can't be trusted to vote for your own policies, be it in a government or in a corporate boardroom. No, you can't be trusted. Well, I think the moment we live in is now where we, the people, say hell no to that vision, just like our founding fathers did 250 years ago. They were entrepreneurs. They were investors, just like the people in this room. Benjamin Franklin, we know he signed the Declaration of Independence. Guess what? He also invented the lightning rod. He also invented the Franklin stove. He actually invented the bifocal spectacle, a remedy to the common cold. Thomas Jefferson invented the polygraph test. He's the guy who invented the swivel chair while he wrote the Declaration of Independence. These are the guys who were our founding fathers, not a bunch of stuffed suit professional politicians like both parties serve you up today. They're people like you. People who believed in the power of innovation, of capitalism, of using your capital to be heard, and when somebody else behaves like a tyrant telling you that you don't matter, they had the Boston Tea Party and they actually fought a revolution to give us the country that we enjoy today. And you know what? If we want to keep this country intact, we're going to have to fight that revolution again in a different way. It is a 1776 moment, and that is how we're going to make America great again. We're going to revive what made it great the first time around. Thank you, guys. God bless you, and your families, and your bank account, and your investment account. That's right. USA. 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 Let's hear it, guys. USA. 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 Love these guys. Love these guys. These are our people. Let's open it up.
I told you that this crowd was unbelievable.
These are our people.
These are hardworking people. These are smart people. These are underestimated people.
Yep.
And they can keep underestimating them, but at their own peril.
Sure.
I just came up with it. President Trump, who you and I both know personally, he said something about Bitcoin recently and kind of adopted at least not so much of a hostile stance to it. One of the things that's most interesting, I think, by the way, Ian, you need to get up here. This guy's a huge... This guy's like Vivek of the internet. This guy goes viral. Vivek. This guy goes viral every day on the internet.
Ian? Ian. Seek the truth.
Here, come over here. Come over here. We'll have you up in a minute, Ian, okay? But this guy's everywhere. I mean, he's the most viral dude in the entire world. Okay, what the hell were we talking about? So, only the hunt. So
Bitcoin,
Trump with
Trump, all that
Bitcoin,
stuff,
yeah. And one of the things that we look at, all this crowd, is the market makers. And the money that the market makers are making and what happened with the buy button with GameStop. That's something that I at least looked at and I said to myself, and I don't know what you think, but
Remember the Robin Hood thing, right?
yeah, I mean, you've made money, I've made money. We're not some stupid fools, right? We look at it and you look at it from the outside and you think, why the hell are they pausing this buy button?
They didn't pause trading. They paused the buy button. Which is interesting, right? Interesting. I wrote about this in Woking.
Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting because there's one thing, it's like, oh, we're a startup company, we can't handle this. Well, maybe it's just halt trading. No, it's not halt trading. We're just going to direct you in one direction, right? It's the same thing's happening everywhere.
By the way, he's good, isn't he?
I mean, we know you got to know your stuff a little bit, but
I was a little worried, but you know, he came through. Go ahead.
yeah, and you see this everywhere, right? It's because they want to protect you. See, this is the thing you got to see about the deep state. Here's not the deep state, the government. It's the deep state in the private sector. It's the same thing. They're not doing what they do because they think they're harming you. They're doing it because they think you can't be trusted to look after your own interests. That's them spitting you in the face, right? It's the way you look at like your pet dog, like your puppy. He can't decide whether you're going to go walk him out for the walk and you bring him back. That's the way they look at you.
Yeah,
and I think the fact is,
the buy button.
absolutely. Just we don't want to stop them from trading. What we actually want them to do is actually sell and protect themselves before this whole thing evaporates. So let's guide them in the direction. They have another term for it. They nudge. They want to. You said it. Everybody here saying the words before I say we're they have a term for it. You want to nudge it. So they're going to say they didn't force you to sell it. They didn't force you to sell it.
They just disabled your buy button but left your sell button intact, right? It's the nudge. And I think that's actually far more dangerous than forcing you to actually do something. See, in the realm of censorship, they do it the same way, right? The government doesn't censor content directly. They say, oh, no, we're not going to censor you. All we'll do is go to the back door and tell Facebook and Google and Twitter, the old Twitter at least, that, you know, if you don't really take down some of that content, we're going to have some regulations coming your way. And we're going to investigate you. But if you don't, you know, we're not doing it as the government. It's just you doing it in the back door. See, the back door stuff, I think, is the same thing as the leaving the sell button, you know, leaving the sell button on but the buy button off. It's more devious because you can't hold them accountable as easily. It takes people who are skating to where the puck is going, actually have their eyes open, right? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. These people are here because they do. But you need to actually spread the word
on Twitter every day. Let me tell you right now. This guy, Doug Sister, you don't know him. By the way,
I'm intrigued now.
By the way, you've been around crowds enough to know if you get that reaction. It's like Trump when he goes out and he beta tests things and he's like, hear this. And it's like you say the word Doug Sifu.
I don't know who this guy is.
Okay, big problem. But anyway, he calls me a trust fund guy, even though I've made $100 million on my own. I have. True story. Yeah. But you know what? It's not worth convincing people because my grandfather's a billionaire. But he could call me a trust fund baby. But at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from the fact of what everybody in this room, and now I just was told 71,000 concurrent viewers. Sorry about that.
It needs to be investigated.
That's it. But it's regulatory capture. It's regulatory capture. 71,000 people watching this. Is this guy and the market makers, and I'll talk to you about this off stage, but Citadel and these other things. By the way, just so you know, the people, and you know this because you're a big, politician and maybe president. They hate Citadel. They hate Doug Sifu. I mean, that's organic. My point being is they're so sick and tired of these market makers. They're so sick and tired of these people. This Doug Sifu, okay, and I don't want to get you involved in this because you're my friend, and I'll fight this fight. Okay. But this guy, he makes millions and millions of dollars a year, and he sits on Twitter all day long, and he insults all these people every day. He's a publicly traded CEO. Now, Ken Griffin is at least smarter than this. He doesn't play this game. Right? Can we agree Ken Griffin's at least smarter than this? But my point being is they attack all of these people every day. And it's in the wide open space, and it's unbelievable. So, anyway, that's an aside.
I just think we got to restore some level of decency, mutual respect in this country.
Mutual respect.
Right? That's what we've lost. Is the idea? It's an all hierarchical relationship. Right? There's the plebeians who have to be governed, and then there's the people who are enlightened enough to govern them.
These are the people who run the world. Right?
That's right. Don't call them the elite.
And we're going to take them over. We're going to take them over by storm. And I'm not saying physical force, but
financial and speech and knowledge, right? You want to know what your ultimate strength is? It's knowledge. Right? Knowledge is more valuable than any physical weapon ever will be, because once you see it, then you actually use that knowledge to make yourself better. That's the ultimate form of freedom, right? That's what our founding fathers believed, right? In that case, they actually had a British Empire. That was the only way they could do it. But in the era we live in, the way we're going to actually fight this revolution is through our own knowledge. Nobody is going to stop you from learning every last thing you need to know before making an investment decision, before actually telling a corporate management team the way they handle your dollars better than they are right now. And I think that's the power in this room and in this movement that actually drew me to be here. I think that's a positive way to channel this energy.
By the way, I interviewed him in a nice, shady hotel in New York. True story. And I said to him about this thing, and he got it right away. He got it right away. He's got a good knack for it. He's got a good instinct. Okay, let's get back to Bitcoin and Trump.
Yeah.
So number one, did you say anything about Bitcoin and Trump? And number two, with regard to the market makers and some of this T0 stuff, and making sure that there's no, shenanigans going on with trades. Well, let me ask that Bitcoin with Trump first.
So, he and I had a good conversation. We started with central bank digital currencies in New Hampshire. Anybody here love the CBDC? Well, that's what I told President Trump as well. So we had a conversation backstage. Here's what I love about the guy, actually, right? Most of these stuffed suit politicians, I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. Trump's not a politician, he's a businessman. He's been the president, but he didn't let it rub off on him. Is that he doesn't try to pretend to be something that he's not. So I say, hey, I want to talk about an issue that could actually be relevant. A lot of people here in New Hampshire care about it. It's important to me is easy win, oppose a central bank digital currency. And his first response wasn't, and I'm talking to the politicians like, oh yeah, I know what that is, CDBC. And I'm just like, no, you didn't even say it right. But President Trump's first point was, what the hell is that? Which I respect, because then he listened carefully. Right? He said, okay, then he started asking, well, why do they want to do it? I want to understand, okay, I get what you're telling me, but why do they want to do it? Well, I give the arguments for efficiency. China's doing it. That's one reason, right? Because that's what they say. China's moving to a central bank digital currency, digital yuan. And you want to keep up with the Joneses or keep up with the Jinpings, as the case may go. Right? That's the argument that the other side makes. But actually, if you think about why China's doing it, that's why we should be running in the other direction. So he took that in. He was digesting it. He didn't say anything on stage about it that
Did
night.
he hold his arms like this when he was talking?
Yeah, you got it. You got it down, actually.
When he's listening, he does that.
Well, but he's dialed
processing.
in. So then
Very
4 nights
smart.
later, he gets it back on stage in New Hampshire. We're there 4 nights later, kind of closing out the campaign there. And what does he say? I am here tonight to tell you, and I can talk about this one because he's talked about it publicly. So, I'm a guy. If somebody's going to respect confidences, I'm always going to respect that. But here he spoke about this publicly, so I feel comfortable talking about it. He goes on stage and says, you know what? I am against a central bank digital currency, and that is going to be our position going forward. And he understood the reaction. He heard the reaction you're hearing right here. And I think that has, been a positive development, but a lot of what you've been hearing from President Trump have been strong pro-libertarian policies, libertarian-friendly policies.
So when you're
ever
in the
since.
administration or Secretary of State or Secretary of Treasury or Vice President or, whatever, will you come back to this rally?
Why not, man? This is fun. I love it.
When you say why not, is that a yes?
That's a yes.
Okay.
That's a yes. Because these are our people. These are our people. And I'll tell you why.
People. Okay, where did you come in from?
San Jose. Clarksville.
Where?
Clarksville, Tennessee. Arizona. Kansas City, Missouri.
Cleveland. Reno, Nevada.
SoCal.
Texas.
Anybody even from Georgia? That's where we are right now. Guys, I love it, right? So I met people from Washington.
Georgia.
No, I met people from Washington, from Oregon, all the way. You got
Germany.
Alberta, Canada. Where's my Alberta, Canada friend right there? We got a couple of you here, right there, brother. So that I think is a beautiful thing, and I think one of the things that's happened in this country is we've fallen into the trap of each getting siloed in our own little silo. We don't leave the spaces that you're told to shut up, sit down, and stay contained in. And so even just before this, one of the things you pick up is I've been to probably, 1,000+ events like this over the last year, but in different parts of the country. Sometimes it's with the left, sometimes it's with the right. You pick up a good pulse of the energy.
Like this? With the helicopter?
No. But what I'm saying is, you can pick up the energy of a room. You get that really well. And what I picked up here, just talked to 30 of you right before we came on, is you all care about this country. You're all enthusiastic about capitalism and the power of the everyday citizen to actually stand for their own interests. So you have a common cause, even though you got people of every shade of melanin. You got two genders. You got, we didn't ask about everybody's sexual orientation. I could care less. But it's that kind of diversity that it doesn't matter if you don't have a common cause and common purpose that binds you together. And so that's the reason my answer to your question is yes is it's a beautiful cross-section of the country of people who are still bound together by a common love of this country and a common purpose. Yeah. And so, why the heck wouldn't I come back, right? So count me out.
These are loyal people. I believe in loyalty.
Yes, we are.
So, we talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin and blockchain and the market. So we talked about the market makers. They told you what they thought about a couple of these people. And I'm profiting off of trades and stuff like that. Front-running trades. These market makers, they front-run trades, and then do payment for order flow and everything.
I mean, you can hear this is what people think about it. Where do you think we are with like the blockchain and some of these firms? I don't know if you know Virtue Financial, but it's publicly traded. I just took a position in it. They know this. You know, I have a $20 million position in our family company. Our family owns hundreds of millions of dollars of Pulte Homes, which is a $20 billion company located here in Atlanta. In fact, this was all because of Pulte Homes' annual meeting that we were going to do it, right? That's what this initially was all about, was the Pulte Homes annual meeting, because we just had an annual meeting here yesterday. $20 billion publicly traded company. But the thing that's exciting about all of this stuff with Citadel and Virtue and everything like that is that the blockchain could potentially disrupt some of these people like Citadel and Virtue and stuff like that. Do you have any thoughts on that, or is that not really your area?
Well, I'm going to admit I've been in financial markets for a long time. This is not my area, but it's important for the future. So I've developed some of my views on this. I think in the long run, that's the direction things are headed. Now, I think the path between here and there is you can't just sit here and say, well, here's what's going to happen 30 years later without playing the game sitting in front of you.
We're playing the game
right now.
We're trying
Exactly.
to speed it up. How long is it going to take us to get from here to where Virtue is no longer, to where the blockchain is no longer?
I think
the blockchain displaces Virtue.
Yeah. It's no longer
Sifu.
It's no longer imaginary, but becoming reality. I think we're looking at a time horizon that's measured in years, not decades. That's what I think we're looking at. But look, I think that you got to be careful where we're all in favor of decentralization. I think this is a good thing, and I think that's strictly we're on the same side of that. But I think we also got to be careful not to think that all problems are going to be solved just because you get to that vision of the blockchain. See, that's what I tell people. I'm speaking at the Bitcoin conference again this year. I spoke there last year in Nashville this time around. So I'll be in Nashville in July.
About time. Somebody who's presidential candidate.
They might as well show up year after year. But I think and I learned a lot from being there too. But one of the things I would warn a lot of my Bitcoin evangelist friends is don't put too much on the shoulders of one thing, right? Bitcoin is not going to be the sole way that we achieve the betterment of humanity. It'll be part of the solution. Blockchain will be part of the solution. And so this is less of not a political comment, not any other kind of comment. It's a comment among friends is we got to be careful not to fall in love with something just because it's familiar as the sole solution. It's going to be a portfolio of solutions no matter what. And so is this an important part of getting to a more free, more democratized, more transparent world in capital markets? Absolutely it is. Is it going to be the end-all, be-all panacea, or are they going to find new ways, right? The existing incumbents to work within that other system to find other nodes of corruption? Of course they will.
Do you think
so I think you got to be prepared
do you
for
think
that.
The government will ban Bitcoin?
I don't think they can. I just don't think physically it works, right? Because it's the ultimate opt-out. And so I just don't think that is going to be a feasible possibility.
Can't stop, won't stop, GameStop. I hung out with Ryan Cohen recently. Do you know Ryan Cohen?
I don't know. Should I meet him?
I'd be happy to introduce you.
Yeah. All right, maybe I'll talk to him.
He, you're richer than me, I think. Which is fine.
Yeah. No shame in that.
You want to pay for that helicopter? I'm giving away $20,000 tonight. Do you want
He's a philanthropist. You gave me that ex-philanthropy jacket, actually, and I wore that jacket. I went back wearing that to NASCAR, actually. It was a good jacket.
Everybody loved the hype when you worn it recently.
Because I'm hot as hell right now, right?
All right, don't get egotistical. You're not hot.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what the hell are we talking about?
I think I'll meet the guy. I'll talk to him.
Okay, meet the guy. This guy's the savior of financial markets.
I mean, it took a lot of guts to sort of say, here's a separate industry. I've done it once, and now I'm going to go to a different industry and have an actual vision for a company that lacks one. I respect that.
He's worth $3.1 billion. Just a little bit more than you and me. He's 38, which is your age. I'm still younger than you.
How old are you, man?
Now, 35.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I want to catch up, you know? Your money bags, though. Give me some money for tonight. Yeah, he's got a lot of money. So, we all like money, right? It's not all about money, but...
Well, I think what irrespective of the scale of the wealth, I mean, there's always going to be somebody richer than the next guy until you're.
But all these people want to get wealthy, and we want to get all of them wealthy, not Doug Sifu. not dug shit through.
I'll tell you this is being here. I already had after even the presidential run. I'll really kind of just be frank with you guys. Had a little bit of a match lit up, looking at is there a way we drive some real change through public market advocacy? I like what Ryan Cohen did, but I think that play exists in other markets other than just the one or two companies that he's been a part of, right?
Tell me more.
And so what I will say
your stock, right?
is you're well, we'll see. There's a lot of things I'm looking at. There's a lot of this, we only get our short time on this earth, okay? We want to make the most use of the time that we're given. So I'm looking at what is the highest impact thing I can do first in the remainder of 2024. Number one thing I can do, and I'm working on it, is making sure that we get Donald J. Trump elected as the next president. But the number two thing I'm looking at is still open on the list. And I think driving change through capital markets is something that I've done before in my own way, at a smaller scale. But we're seeing if we can't actually, I have a few ideas. We're not going to go into them right here. But I'd say you've thrown some kerosene on that flame here for me today. And so we're going to take that airplane back and have some ideas to work on. And maybe by the time we talk next, we'll have some.
We need it. And Ryan Cohen's great. I spent 3 hours with him. I'm going to tell this Atlanta crowd a little bit. I promised Ryan I wouldn't say much, but we love Ryan Cohen. By the way, I told everyone we did a Ryan Cohen chant, and we'll do that later. But I spent 3 hours with him. I can say that at a Florida Panthers game. It was just him and me. We were literally standing like this, not to be romantic, but it was him and I, and we were talking. And he loves these people. He gets it better than anybody. He's taking zero compensation for that. He's taking what? Yeah, less. He's donating. He's giving money to GameStop.
He's a shareholder. He's an owner.
He's an owner. He's an owner CEO. He's putting his money where his mouth is. This is the type of executive we need.
And then put your mouth where your money is, right, to drive the change. And I think both of those need to go together.
Exactly. So if you do something, we'll support it. So anyway, we'll talk more about Ryan Cohen tonight. But that was fascinating. I mean, I just like the guy. Yeah.
Well, I would say this, right? I think we can't follow. I love what he's done. I've never met him. Think highly of the bravery it took to do that. But it's not just going to be, we can't fall into the trap. Like, I love the innovators. I mean, I've developed a great friendship with Elon Musk. Respect the hell out of what he's doing. Respect the hell out of what Ryan Cohen's doing. Respect the hell out of what Donald Trump's doing. But it's going to take more. Right? It's not, you can't just wait for somebody else to come from on high to save us. It doesn't work that way. If we're going to be saved, it's going to be because we save ourselves. And so, you know what? You don't have to have $3 billion to drive change in the country to make yourself better. Take the lesson from each of the people who you admire and ask yourself, how are you going to drive that change yourself? And I'll say this, I gotta probably, I'm having too much fun. You guys got to listen to Mike Taylor, by the way. I don't know if you know him, but that man's got a brain. And I've known him from a prior life. First time I saw him in like 7 or 8 years, so he's coming up here next. But before I get out of here, I want to tell you this is, every one of us has our own unique God-given gifts. And they're not the same as everybody else. In fact, everyone has a different God-given gift. But I think what each of us has got to do right now in this moment for this country, and do it for yourself, is look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what gift do I have that nobody else does? And how am I going to use it to do what is right in the short time that we are given? And you know what? That's what makes Elon Musk great, because he does that. That's what makes Donald Trump great. That's what I try to do every day, and I'm sure that's what the guys like Ryan Cohen have done to be able to do great things in this country. That's what I want every one of you doing, too. And if you all do your part, you all actually do it, figure out what is that unique God-given gift that God has given you, and then figure out how you're going to use it to make this country better, to make some company better, to make our economy better, whatever it is, then we're not going to be this nation in decline anymore. We're still going to be a country whose best days, and I'm not talking in some fake politician way, but in a true way, a country whose best days are actually still ahead of us. Right? A country where you're going to get ahead, and you're going to get ahead, and you're going to get ahead with your own hard work, your ingenuity, your knowledge, your dedication, not based on your skin color, not based on what some regulator told you or what some some market bureaucrat told you sitting in some corporate hierarchy. No, you're going to be able to achieve the maximum of your potential by putting your money where your mouth is and your ingenuity behind it. That's how we're going to get this country back. You guys are on the front lines. I'm behind you at every step of the way. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for having me here, man. God bless you, and God bless our great country. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Real quick, before you go, what would you do? You're running for president, or you were. You're in this big position. Other than storming the Capitol on January 6th, hypothetically, what can these people do specifically, tangibly, to effectuate change?
Just take, and it's just really important because we're skating on thin ice as a country. First of all, this should be obvious, but I'm just going to say it. Violence is not the way, and it is never the way. It is through knowledge. Use your knowledge. Know more than the other side. Okay, that's the first thing. Educate yourself to the maximum, and then go further than that. That's what you got to do, and I think we got to awaken. And you all have it, I can tell. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have it. Awaken that spirit of curiosity to learn something that you weren't supposed to learn. That's the key, right? The people will feed you the stuff they want you to know. Figure out what they don't want you to know, and then learn the hell out of it. That's what our founding fathers had. Right? That was Thomas Jefferson. That was John Adams. I mean, Thomas Jefferson was fluent in like 6 languages, 8 languages, could read 5 more. John Adams, this is a guy who became a Sanskrit scholar after he left the U.S. presidency. These are the guys who invented stuff. What do we say right now? You're not an expert. Shut up, sit down, do as you're told. No, figure out what they don't want you to know. The more boring it sounds, and this happens in financial markets all the time, the more boring it sounds, the more they make it an acronym, the more you actually got to pay attention.
I agree. Do you know Scott Adams by chance?
Yeah. I mean, just through public social media, but yeah.
He's a dear friend. And
he actually endorsed me for president.
He did?
Yeah, I love that guy.
He gets a tough deal, but he's a dear friend. In fact, he was going to come here, but a whole other story. Dear friend, and he calls it confusopoly.
Yeah.
In other words,
I love that. I haven't heard him say that.
You with all of these words and everything, and these market makers, Doug Shitfu. They try to say, "Oh, this is so complicated. You couldn't understand this. You're not smart enough to understand this. Only I, a Columbia University grad, would understand this." It's all
totally.
horseshit.
And so figure out what you're not supposed to know, what they don't want you to know, and then use your knowledge to learn more about it than your enemy. And then that's how you're actually going to succeed, and that's how we win this war. We're in a war. We're going to win the war. That's the way we do it, not through violence, but through knowledge.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, brother. Good seeing you, man. Great crowd. Great group.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Ramaswamy.
That's right. Hey, PP, I'm going to go over here for a second.
Good to see you, man.
Hey, good seeing you.
With Vivek, and you bring the boys up, all right?
All right, fellas, let's get into the show tonight. How the fuck are we doing?
Okay, good to see you, man.
I know you guys didn't come for people. You came for Take 2B. Don't worry, I did too.
Let's look at bye to the stream. We'll see you guys. It's a good stream. Enjoyed it. That crowd there, good people. So keep it up. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.